Well, the night can be a lifetime long when it lies there before you. Just such a night it was, all starlight and headlight bright, when I met a weary man upon the hard roadside gravel. I said, why do you travel so? How do you keep on? He said, I don't bite the hand of the giving, but I wish they'd only give me the chance I need to get me back in the land of the living. Somewhere I know that land waits for me. There's a place that I've heard tell, they call the land of the living, a whole wide world away from the weak of redundancy, and perhaps you know it well and can give me direction, 'cause try as I might, my friend, well, I just can't find my way. That's why I don't bite the hand of the giving, but I wish they'd only give me the chance I need to get me back in the land of the living. Somewhere I know that the land waits for me. I said I know these roads myself and the places that they lead to. I can't deceive you none, it's all the same wherever you go, from the banks of Neath and Tyne to the Mersey, Clyde and Humber. The hungry helpless numbers are all searching just like you, and they sing, we don't bite the hand of the giving, but we wish they'd only give us the chance we need to get us back in the land of the living. Somewhere we know that land's just gotta be. Life can be a nighttime long when it lies there before you. Just such a life I've had, oh, whip crack, don't talk back, but what's a man to do when there's those that tell you with gold teeth to talk to of a better time to come. That's why we don't bite the hand of the giving, but we wish they'd only give us the chance we need to get us back in the land of the living. Somewhere we know that land's just gotta be. Good evening, hello again. Hope you're all feeling well out there in the big wide world. And thanks for joining us tonight. Tonight is a request evening. All the people have been texting me and emailing me requests for songs. It's been great. Thanks very much for everybody who's been in touch. And some real obscure stuff from the Jez Lowe repertoire. I've done quite a bit of googling from my own lyrics over the past few weeks, and sorry if I can't fit everything in. I'll try and fit some other ones in if I do another one of these shows in the next month, for example. But I'll do as many as I can anyway over the next hour or so. And this is a song called The Soda Man. I think I may have done this on one of these shows early on when we first started doing these online gigs. But the soda man is a fellow who used to go around the streets selling bottles of pop from the back of a van. And the kids in the street have a little song about him, and that's the chorus of this song, which I'm going to start off with. And this is especially, that last song, by the way, Land of the Living, from Bad Penny album in 1988. That was a special request for Susan and for Jane. I've got it all written down here. This is a special request for George and Phyllis. I was going to try and do the Housewife Choice theme tune to start with, but I thought it wasn't very PC anymore, really. But anyway, so this is the Soda Man from the first Bad Pennies record, Briefly on the Street. And the chorus goes like this. If my old man was the soda man, I'd drink all the soda in his soda van. Pop bottle pennies, give us all you can. I'll spend it all on soda. Them boozing days are over. They've been joking their squares upon the path now. Sometimes I think the street is up and mad. Bonnie lassie, don't you chance your mother's wrath now, and send a stone a-sliding through the grade, or jump into a skipping rope a-spinning. You've work to do before you're fun. Can't you hear their voices as they're singing, waiting for the soda man to come? Can't you hear them sing? If my old man was the soda man, I'd drink all the soda in his soda van. Pop bottle pennies, give us all you can. I'll spend it all on soda. Them boozing days are over. Long, long time ago, a father packed his case now. He used to drink so much he couldn't stand. She lies awake and tries to see his face now, but she only sees the shaking of his hands. And every night her mother leaves her with his children. She's old enough to sit till closing time, but young enough to wish that she could join them when their voices and their feet all skimming rhyme. Can't you hear them sing? If my old man was the soda man, I'd drink all the soda in his soda van. Pop bottle pennies, give us all you can. I'll spend it all on soda. Them boozing days are over. Winter's through and its rings around the moon now. Her brothers and her sisters are in bed. Her mother's off dressed like it's flaming June now. A flimsy frock and nothing on her head. She shivered out the door to curse the fashion. She said fashion's just for flashing on the streets. She said she'll soon get warmed up with some passion. Well, I hope she brings some home, they need the heat. Let me hear you sing. If my old man was the soda man, I'd drink all the soda in his soda van. Pop bottle pennies, give us all you can. I'll spend it all on soda. Them boozing days are over. They sing. If my old man was the soda man, I'd drink all the soda in his soda van. Pop bottle pennies, give us all you can. I'll spend it all on soda. Them boozing days are over. Soda Man. It's from about 1990, that one. And this is a kind of a bit more recent. This is from an album that we did with the Bad Pennies called Doolally. And this was about 2004, maybe we did that Doolally. And this is a song that was especially for my friend Mark Walters down in Sydney in Australia. Hi Mark. Hope you're all right down there. It's been a bit of flooding and stuff. Anyway, this is a song called Calico, and this came about because way back about that time, early 2000s, I was travelling in America, and I came across a mining town. So I thought I'd have a look. Coming from the coal mining town that I do, this was a gold mining town, and it was an abandoned gold mining town, and it had been turned into sort of a tourist sort of a ghost town, you know, like a Wild West town, and it was pretty pathetic in those days. I have a feeling it might have gone a bit more upmarket now. Calico was the name of the town, and all the bits in this song are all kind of true. The names and everything were all relevant. We went into the actual gold mine, and there was these kind of mannequins, these models standing like holding picks and shovels and stuff like that, and they were all a bit threadbare and looking pretty sorry for themselves. Hence this song, Calico. And I just found out actually earlier this year that I wasn't the first one to be inspired by the town of Calico. It lies between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. It's on the road that way. And in fact, back I think in the early 70s, the country and western singer Kenny Rogers did a whole album based on Calico, like a country and western opera. And it was a financial disaster for him, sadly. But anyway, so this is Calico. When moonlight comes to Calico, gone Alaska's dust, the mannequins all make their move and rise in their rags and rust. They watch as Joshua stretches, but small talk's not his style. His joints are cold from a frozen pose, his lips not built to smile. Everyone soon on their feet, shuffling stiff and slow, 'cause it's party time in the Maggie mine tonight in Calico. When all the mannequins gather round the fiddle and piano to waltz and tarantello, chimes tomorrow. Of all the mannequins in the world, there's none of them that I know dance the night away the way they dance in Calico. Calico. Across the street in the old saloon, Martha rests her feet. She flounces dust from petticoats and taps a weary beat. Her newly nimble fingers stroke the old Joanna keys. It's mi amor, mi corazon, played straight from memory. Martha can't remember why the good times had to go. It's the same old tune in the old saloon every night in Calico. When all the mannequins gather round the fiddle and piano to waltz and tarantello, chimes tomorrow. All the mannequins in the world, there's none of them that I know dance the night away the way they dance in Calico. Calico. Then it's back to dreams and wishes, deep in the glory hole. One man sweats on silver, the other one dreams of gold. Joshua lets them dream away and chatter like big buffoons. His mind is drifting up across the street to the old saloon, where dawn has draped a silent night upon that old dumb shore. And Martha's still and silent, chill as ice could ever know, 'cause it's tourist time, Maggie mine, once more in Calico, till all the mannequins gather round the fiddle and piano to waltz and tarantella. As midnight chimes tomorrow, of all the mannequins in the world, there's none of them that I know dance the night away the way they dance in Calico. 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 Right. That's for Mark. Thanks, Mark. Where we are to right. Change of instruments here. And this a man called Trevor asked me to sing this next song, and it's a strange old song. For the past probably 30 years or more, I've been sending out a newsletter to a mailing list that I've acquired over the years. And if you want to get on my mailing list, it's still going. It used to be a thing we used to send it by post. Now we do it by email every month. If you want to be on my mailing list, please do. It'd be great if you do want to do that. Just send me an email at jez@jezlowe.com. jez@jezlowe.com to be on the Jez Lowe mailing list. And the newsletter that comes out every month is called The Midnight Mail. And this is the song that it was named after. This is called Working on the Midnight Mail. The Man from the Midnight Mail. I did the song about the soda man, about the guy going around the streets during the day selling bottles of pop. This is the Man from the Midnight Mail goes around the streets during the night, after midnight. And as you may know, he's collecting stuff that nobody wants anymore, stuff that people have kind of left behind, as it were. You'll get the idea if you've never heard the song before. And it was... The song comes from a time in the mining communities where I came from, where there was no, shall we say, no efficient plumbing system. So this is Working on the Midnight Mail. When the stars all glitter and the streets are dim and dead, and all decent people are sleeping in their bed, with prayers and good night sleep well said, and the moon's up and in full sail. There's a banging in the alley, a whistling on the breeze, a turning and a burning and a churning of the wheel. They all roll over in their bed and think of me when I'm working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. In me boots with me shovel and me pail, I go working on the midnight mail. Don't tell me your life's a devil and a drudge. Well, there's times when I wish you'd let me be the judge. When I'm up to me middle in the slurry and the sludge, you could soon see your troubles turn pale. I could have been a farmer or driven on a train. I could have been a politician, but I knew me father's name. So I thought I'd better follow in his footsteps and his stains and go working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. In me boots with me shovel and me pail, I go working on the midnight mail. I walk around the houses when the night is black as pitch. Well, there's some folks poor, some folks rich. Believe me when I say it's hard to reckon which is which, but you won't hear me tell tales. There's no need to worry about your secrets in the least, though I've seen things of which I could have made a feast. Trust in me like a doctor or a priest when I'm working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. In me boots with me shovel and me pail, I go working on the midnight mail. One night the fine young lady caught me eye, but every time I spoke to her she always passed me by. Till my old dad said, perhaps you better try and be a bit more fresh than stale. So he hosed me down and scrubbed me, he tied me to the chair. He put a bowl upon me head and tidied up me hair. But she still walks past me with her nose up in the air when I'm working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. In me boots with me shovel and me pail, I go working on the midnight mail. So I turned my attention to another likely lass, and as time went on I thought I'd make a pass. My mum said she'd even light a candle after mass, cause she knew that could never ever fail. And when I finally summoned up the courage for to speak, she said I could come and pay a visit once a week. So you find us every Tuesday evening cheek to cheek when I'm working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. In me boots with me shovel and me pail, I go working on the midnight mail. Then before you know, well, it's the rising of the sun, and I know by then it's time that I was gone. Cause a job in the hand is surely worth a job well done, if you wanna hit the head upon the nail. It's a fine occupation and I try to do it well, but there's one secret that perhaps I'd better tell. You need a sense of humour, but not a sense of smell when you're working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail. In me boots with me shovel and me pail, I go working on the midnight mail. Working on the midnight mail for Trevor. Thank you, Trevor. And right, and now, oh blimey, here we go. I've changed guitars here. This is a song. This is one of my favourite songs, actually. I have to say, if I'm allowed to say that, this is one of my favourites. And but it's there's a lot of words to these songs. As I say, I've had to swat up over the last month. And there's a man called Paul has asked me to sing this song. And it's a bit, it's a funny tuning. The bass string, the E string of the guitar has to go down to C, and which is a bit of a problem for the guitar as much as for me, I think. There it is. And this song, it came about from nothing. It came about from the first line. That's all I had. I had one line, and there was nothing else to it, and I just jumped into it. Songwriters watching this, hopefully you'll know exactly what I mean by this. You don't know where you're going to go with this song, and I didn't know where this was going to go. and it ended up being quite a soap opera, this one, really, all just based on that first line. And there's a bit of a funny thing in it where, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie The Third Man, starring Orson Welles as Harry Lime. The film goes on and on and on before Harry Lime, the star of the film, Orson Welles, doesn't come in till like halfway through the movie, and that's what happens in this song. Actually, the hero, the anti-hero of the song, doesn't actually make an appearance until about halfway through. It's just me being a smarty pants, really, but. Anyway, this is the song, and this is the first line that it starts with. It goes like this. You must have heard of Madison, the man that run the car. His wife filled in a label like 100 times before. It was his face in the paper, 'cause she always signed his name. But it was her that wrote the slogan, and she always wrote the same. She wrote, you'll search the whole world over, and there's nothing near as good. You'll never find a better one, or want it if you could. Though crowds are loudly round about, it always stands alone. She wrote, that's out there on its own. That car is out there on its own. The slogans go, I can't pretend, it grabs me by the throat. But it must have done the trick for them to get the winning vote. They thanked the blessed angels, saying we'll never want for more. And that night his wife, she left her nightgown hanging on the door. The car was brought from Ferry Hill with cameras and a blonde. She pressed her chest on Madison and called him cheeky fond. The car itself was long and white, the whitest in the world. Like something Obi-Wan Kenobi might have used to get the girls. Well, you could search the whole world over, and there's nothing near as good. You'll never find a better one, or want it if you could. Though crowds are loudly round about, it always stands alone. That car was out there on its own. Ah, way out there on its own. It was parked by Walter Wilson's with Madison inside, playing with the radio 'cause Madison couldn't drive. When his wife, she caught the bus down to the doctor, she was late. And I was in the waiting room by an ankles twist of fate. Now me, of course, I wouldn't know a bonnet from a break. I just sit there next to Eunice and she never makes mistakes. I said, Eunice is the girl you want, she'll teach him like a dream. And by the time your baby's born, he'll be off like Steve McQueen. Well, you could search the whole world over, and there's no one near as good. You'll never find a better girl, or want her if you could. Though crowds are loudly round about, she always stands alone. Eunice is out there on her own. Ah, way out there on her own. So they started after Christmas when the snow had slid away. It seemed by Pancake Tuesday they were driving night and day. As learners go, I guess you'd have to place him with the best. But they drove away forever on the day he passed his test. wife in Safeway with the baby in her arms. She stopped the competitions now, it keeps her out of harm. And me, I buy for one, of course the cheapest I can find. But every now and then that bloody slogan comes to mind. 'Cause I could search the whole world over and there's no one near as good. I'll never find a better girl, or want her if I could. Though crowds are loudly round about me, I stand alone. I'm always out there on my own. Ah, way out there on my own. You must have heard of Madison, the man that won the car. The man that won the car. This is another one I think I've done on one of these online gigs before, but I'll stick it in now, especially for my friends the Simpsons, who are there somewhere down in the deep south around Aylesbury way. Adrian and Jessica and family, and they've asked me for this song. And again, it's from that Do Lally album. I've done at least one song from that. And this is another one. This is a song called Vikings. That's what the Vikings say. Ooh. Not a lot to say about this one. The Vikings, as I'm sure you know, used to come over to the northeast coast of England most weekends. Really, they'd come over, and they left a big impression wherever they went. And the place near where I come from, a place called Horden, up in County Durham on the east coast there, used to be called Jordan because it was at one time a Viking settlement. The idea of this song is the Vikings return. Can you imagine that? The Vikings, after a century and a half or whatever, return to the northeast of England, and they look around and they think, blimey, what happened? And that's what this song's all about. That's what the Vikings say. I know I must be off me head, you'll say, but there are Vikings living in me shed these days. Historically I know they should be dead, cold as clay, but that's not our way, so say the Vikings. From Valhalla by the power of Odin, big fellas, long yellow hair, framed grins, they all look like the singer out of Led Zeppelin. Can't we join in? So say the Vikings. When you go laughing, drinking, cursing and fighting, picking on the little people, isn't that the way of the world of today? That's what the Vikings say. They say we're sick of sleeping in the arms of four, while down here it's fun, fun and war, war, war. We managed without waking him to sneak out the door. Now we've come back for more, so say the Vikings. Here's our references and our CVs, some clippings from an ancient Nordic tapestry. Blood, lust and barbarism guaranteed, we always maim to please, so say the Vikings. When we go laughing, drinking, cursing and fighting, picking on the little people, isn't that the way of the world of today? That's what the Vikings say. Once we were happy in our hills and fjords, the saga of lager and smorgasbords. In long ships we started taking long trips abroad and thinking with our swords, so say the Vikings. We'd find some peaceful quiet village then, we'd start out berserking and pillaging to make the locals hate us was our stratagem. Now that's popular again, so say the Vikings. So let's go laughing, drinking, cursing and fighting. Picking on the little people is not the way of the world of today. That's what the Vikings say. We've missed the fun and frolic, so we've come back here to show you how to rule the world through force and fear. All decked out with a brand new set of shields, swords and spears. We're sponsored by IKEA, so say the Vikings. Now they're shacked up in my shed, keeping their weapons clean, watching some Kirk Douglas movie scene by scene. And always whistling Mamma Mia or Dancing Queen. Don't we look mean, so say the Vikings. When we go laughing, drinking, cursing and fighting, picking on the little people is not the way of the world of today. That's what the Vikings say. The Vikings say. Okay. Oops. Righto. From the sublime to the coblime now. This is from a Bad Pennies record we did back in the mid 1990s. It was called Tenterhooks. One of my favourite albums that I've done, actually. Again, if I'm allowed to have favourites. And again, tuning wise, it's a long time ago, long before I was writing my own songs, I used to sing a lot of traditional songs, and one of the songs I used to sing was an American song called The Indian Lass, and it was one of my favourite songs. And then Nick Jones, around the same time, the amazing Nick Jones, did a version of The Indian Lass as well, so it kind of took the shine off my version. Not that anybody heard my version. Anyway, this is a song about a song. This is my song about the song called The Indian Lass. And so I'll give this a shot. I haven't done this one for a long, long time. And some friends of mine down in Tunbridge Wells, John and Di Cullen, asked me to do this one tonight. So, great singers themselves as well. So. This is the song of the Indian Lass. Well, I once sang a song called The Indian Lass, and none ever suited me better. It told of a traveller in fair New Orleans and the Indian girl that he met there. And though the sadness of parting came hard at the end, the tune made it sound all the sweeter. Yes, I once sang a song called The Indian Lass, but I never once thought that I'd meet her. I was working the bar, singing songs of the north in a place called the Inn on the River. And I sang them the song of the Indian Lass, and I caught a reflection in a cracked barroom glass, and I finished the song with a shiver. And there she was next to me, smelling of rain, and she asked of my song and my story, and I found myself rambling ever and on, like a bird in display of its glory. Well, her skin was the stain of a New England leaf, her hair was as black as blueberry, and as long as the river that flowed on beneath, in shallows and pools around her body. And I found myself swimming in those still water reeds, and fumbling under covers with the lights out, as I lay there in love and inside of night, as those fingers so red gripped those shoulders so wide, and a song in me head sang its heart out. But it wasn't till late on the turnpike at night, as I drove with her head on my shoulder, with the road stretching on like a trail full of tears, and a thin mountain air growing colder, that she told me the stories that once were just known to the tribes and the seers of her nation. How a plague of white skin destroyed all in its path, how hard steel and lead sentenced skin, bone and staff to a place that she called the damnation. Then one morning in Maine, as I sent money home, she left in the hardest of weather, with never a note, just some stones on a string, one for each day spent together. Well, I could have gone after her, begged her to stay, but I thought it was best if I left it, 'cause I once sang a song called The Indian Lass, and I knew the way that it ended. There you go. It's the song of the Indian Lass, and check out Nick Jones's version of the traditional song, the Indian Lass, which is on one of his CDs, I think, one of his reissue CDs. Very different from the one that I used to do, and obviously very different from that song as well. And now there's this next song again from the same album, from Tenterhooks. Much more of a Bad Pennies track, this one on the original album, and there's about 3 or 4, at least that number of people have asked me to do this one, and in the same key as the last one, and this is a song, it's kind of, it's not really based on anybody real, although the attitude is kind of based on somebody that I came across. And the song is called The Guilts. The Guilts, the Guilts, they can't hurt me. about a fella who refuses to feel guilty about his wicked capitalist ways. Pointing no fingers. The guilt goes like this. I met a well-fed face from a Hungary past. He was honest and angry when I saw him last. I said, it's so good to see a friend like you after so long and what we've all been through. He said, for me now things just couldn't be better. You know I've always been a real go-getter. I fought my way to the top of my pile. No guilty conscience ever clamped my style. The guilts, they can't hurt me. The guilts, they can't hurt me. My heart's as hard can be. Well, I just don't care. Don't give me the guilts, they can't hurt me. The guilts, they can't hurt me. I fought my way to the top of my tree. I won't stay right there, he said. I'm gonna stay right there. He said, I can remember when we sang those songs of working class struggle, they were such good fun. Ah, but times were changing and I soon had enough of that old Bob Dylan and the left-wing stuff. So while you sat around blowing band harmonica, I made money like a right-wing scavenger. I closed my eyes to the poor and oppressed. If I couldn't make profit, I couldn't care less. The guilts, they can't hurt me. The guilts, they can't hurt me. My heart's as hard can be. Well, I just don't care. Don't give me the guilts, they can't hurt me. The guilts, they can't hurt me. I fought my way to the top of my tree. I'm gonna stay right there, he said. I'm gonna stay right there. He said, I bet you never thought I'd get this far with me brand new suit and my custom car. But I can tell by your frowns and your plain soft talk, we were horse and carriage, now we're cheese and chalk. But you can keep your pity and your cool compassion. I'm sorry to say that it's out of fashion. This is the age of the self-made man. Do unto others before others can. The guilts, they can't hurt me. The guilts, they can't hurt me. My heart's as hard can be. Well, I just don't care. Don't give me the guilts, they can't hurt me. The guilts, they can't hurt me. I fought my way to the top of my tree. I'm gonna stay right there, he said. I'm gonna stay right there. So won't you shake my hand and agree to death? Well, I said, one day you'll come a cropper. I'll turn away from your heartfelt pleas, 'cause I remember what you just said to me. Then I'll say those guilts, they can't hurt me. The guilts, they won't hurt me. My heart will be hard as hard can be. And I just won't care. Now give me the guilts, they can't hurt me. The guilts, they can't hurt me. They'll chop you down from the top of your tree. I only hope I'm there, I said. I only hope I'm there. The guilts, they can't hurt me. Right. Here's a one that was for Paul. That one, by the way, it says on my list here. And this is a song again, which I I haven't actually. I wrote it for somebody else. I wrote it for Judy Dinning. Judy, fantastic singer from Hexham in Northumberland, and she sang with my band, the Bad Pennies, for many years. And she was always asking me to write her a song, especially for her, and I did. This was it, and it was because she told us a story. Judy told us a story that one night when she was driving back after a Bad Pennies gig, she was driving back to her house in Hexham, along the road between Corbridge and the top, so it runs along parallel with the Roman wall. It's called the Military Road, and she went along there and she had a very spooky experience. And it is a kind of a spooky place. And I was up there recently. I did a program for the radio, for Radio 4, in fact, not so long ago. And just the imagining the poor guys from in the Roman army. I know a lot of them weren't Roman anyway, but they certainly were standing there in their togas. And their little skirts and kilts and what have you, with the Northumbrian wind blowing up their nether regions. It couldn't have been very much fun. So this is, as usual, I've turned it into it's a bit of an anti-war song, but it's a love song as well. And it's called The Military Road. This is from about 1998, I think. Judy Dinning recorded it with her band at the time, Lucky Bags, and then she recorded it with the Bad Pennies on one of our live albums as well. A man not dressed for weather, and oh such weather, the north wind bitterly it blows through cruel lands that reach the border, the bleakest border, along the military road. I asked him why he came to wander where none should wander, but his marching never slowed. He pulled his cloak about him tightly and made to pass me along the military road. The song he sang, it had no meaning, or maybe meaning that he alone could know, a foreign tongue long since forgotten, in sadness written along the military road. And every word fell soft as rainfall, a young girl's name called, where a moon once glowed, on hills and mountains softer, gentler than those of winter, along the military road. A song of love, there's none forsaken, of hearts still breaking, though parted long ago. Now there is no one left to listen, so far the distance along the military road. Young women all, cling to your lover, lest you discover how bitter tears can flow as young men march away together, away forever along the military road. Young women all, cling to your lover, lest you discover how bitter tears can flow as young men march away together, away forever Country Road, especially for Judy Dinning. Yeah. And it was requested by Kim as well. Check out Judy Dinning's records as well. She did a couple of solo albums, and with her band Real Time. And she was really great. She was great. Anyway, this is a couple of more songs for me, if that's okay. Some real obscure stuff, but this is another one from Doolally. Yeah, another one from the Doolally album. This is especially for Aidan. Sugar Water Sunday. Get your feet to the free bowl of fortune, and we'll be singing in the morning when Sugar Water Sunday comes. Just jingles, the money in my pocket won't fold. I'm sick of feeling cold feet single, laughing at it till twice told. I'll sing for me supper, I'll whistle for me tea. I know there's damn not a whistle with me. I'll put my mouth where the money might be one day. Get your feet to the free bowl of fortune, and we'll be singing in the morning when Sugar Water Sunday comes. Get your feet to the free bowl of fortune, and we'll be singing in the morning when Sugar Water Sunday comes. Girl, you're a darling, I'm a debtor, both just working for the man. What you have to kiss to make things better? Where there's magic wand, the cat caught lapping up the cream and getting fat, the dog with nothing but a cold water flat. What's the use of worrying? Get your coat and have it wheel away. Get your feet to the free bowl of fortune, and we'll be singing in the morning when Sugar Water Sunday comes. Get your feet to the free bowl of fortune, and we'll be singing in the morning when Sugar Water Sunday comes. It's time we got dressed up. You be the belle and me the beau. You're a gypsy dipped in ketchup, I'm a vagabond striped in snow. Close all the doors, chuck away the keys, walk down 10th Street proud as you please. Who's that couple at the knees of the bees? They'll say, get your feet to the free bowl of fortune, and we'll be singing in the morning when Sugar Water Sunday comes. Get your feet to the free bowl of fortune, and we'll be singing in the morning when Sugar Water Sunday comes. Sugar Water Sunday. And the couple of things to tell you before I end tonight. I'll probably do another one of these on the last Sunday of April, which is April the 25th. Two reasons. I've just been compiling a big list of all the songs about coal mining that the coal mining communities anyway, that I've done over the years for a film. Some people are making a movie, and they've asked me to come up with a lot of coal mining songs, so I've been looking at that this week. So I'm going to do just like some of the more obscure songs that I've written, not about coal mining but about the community that I come from, which is a coal mining community up in County Durham. So that'll be like April the 25th. It'll be a Jez Lowe coal mining special. I promise not to get dressed up. So try that one. Keep it on your diaries. And again, if you've any requests or anything, I'll try some of the stuff I've missed out tonight. Sorry I didn't get there. I probably talked a bit too much. But also, in 2 weeks' time, Sunday the 11th of April, you'll be able to watch the Bad Apple Theatre production of their play called Eddie and the Goldtops, that I wrote the music for and the songs for back in, I don't know what, 10 years ago or more. I can't remember when it was, probably longer than that. And it's Eddie and the Goldtops. It's on film. And it's ever so funny, and it's really good, and it harks back to it's the story of the long forgotten, obscure Geordie star of the 1960s, top of the pops sort of era. Eddie and the Goldtops is the name of the thing. So that's Sunday the 11th of April. So check that out and groove along to some groovy 60s beats, Bad Apple Theatre style. Thanks very much for listening tonight. Sorry again if I haven't been able to do your do the songs you wanted, but I'll try and do them. We probably will get another. Who knows what's going to happen in the next few months in terms of doing real gigs? But it's going to be a while, I think, yet. But stay safe in the meantime. Don't take any risks out there. And this is a very appropriate song that Susan and Sally have asked us to do, and it's a song called Idle Time to finish with. And it's been a strange time. It's been an idle time at times. Thanks ever so much. Finish with this one.
This is idle time, and what could be better than a Riley's life? To live as you please on a bright fine day, no matter the weather. Time to take some time at your ease. But the bad lads know there's bound to be trouble, and the good boys wish they'd dare to join in, and the girls take time for a kiss and a cuddle, 'cause taking what you're given's no sin. Oh, it's idle time, we're back up on the level. Idle time, time for me and you. Idle time, you gotta hand it to the devil, and hope you'll find some work for you to do. All the walls came down without fanfare or trumpet. The wind blew corkscrew sharp through me coat. They left us here to like it on the bit. I was choking on the lump in my throat. They said it's idle time, get back up on the level. Idle time, time for me and you. Idle time, you gotta hand it to the devil, and hope you'll find some work for you to do. And the rent man, he's this town's only worker, and his youngest girl is me heart's only joy. And her dad says, keep your hands off me daughter until you find some gainful employ. I said it's idle time, we're back up on the level. Idle time, time for me and you. Idle time, you gotta hand it to the devil, and hope we'll find some work for you to do. We are the cost they willed and weighed. We are the price that they have paid. We are the sacrifice that dare not speak its name. Well, this is idle time, and what could be better? No snarling suit telling me what to do. But this idle time, it's lasting forever. How long before the cracks will show through. Well, it's idle time, we're back up on the level. Idle time, time for me and you. Idle time, you gotta hand it to the devil and hope he'll find some work for you to do. Oh, it's idle time, we're back up on the level. Idle time, time for me and you. Idle time, you gotta hand it to the devil and hope he'll find some work for you to do. Thank you very much. See you next time. Stay safe. And thanks very much for watching. See you again.